Oh, it's on top. Well, New
On
York
top.
is always on top.
See? So I decided that I would heart New York.
The always thing I always find interesting about that I Heart New York campaign is it wasn't even originally New York's campaign. For those who
It was an ad agency, right? Or a travel
it was
agency.
no, it was Virginia. Virginia had a similar ad campaign that once Virginia that was I guess Virginia is for lovers,
Yes.
and they had one of the boards I guess or one of the spots for the commercial was this I love Virginia, and there was another one even before that from Plymouth who had a I Heart Plymouth, and the little heart had a devil's tail at the bottom of it, and it pointed to Plymouth, the word Plymouth in the line.
Fortunately, broadcasting waited 25 years and then decided that they heart radio.
Yeah, and then of course never one to let a good idea go unstolen. They wanted to get on the thing, so they went and stole it too. They said, "Listen, if a couple of guys in New Jersey can steal this, if Jerry Delafemina can steal this, we can steal it too." Kids, if you don't know who Jerry Delafemina is, go look it up.
Look up Monty Rock the Third as well.
Well, yeah. Matter of fact, you'll have more fun looking up Monty Rock the Third than you will Jerry Delafemina. I guarantee you that that's a strongly held truth of American consumerism and advertising. So, how was your weekend, Michael Knight, who is down there in Pasadena, California, and is with us here on the Mikey and Vinnie show, which we do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
It was lovely and quiet, and much to my pleasure. And you? And yours?
Yeah, it was pretty quiet. I watched the Mets Mariners series, and watched the Mets find a team that they could beat up 2 out of 3 times. It always seems to work that way when you have a team and you like that team and you want them to get healthy. They always seem to get healthy on a team that you also like. So it can never be just simple. Like we got healthy, we beat the Yankees 4 games in a row or something like that. It never can work like that. It always has to be something complicated. So, but they did. They beat the Mariners 2 out of 3, resoundingly 2 out of 3, and so the Mariners move on to the chopping block, to the meat grinder that is Philadelphia, where
you don't always get your way in Philadelphia.
Well, as the Mariners know, Philadelphia is just a hellhole for baseball teams. It's just, it's a good team that is at that point in their, what are we today, August 18th? Yeah, we're in the week where the Philadelphia team will make their decision on whether they're going to hit the gas and go, or they're just going to stick their dicks between their legs and just sit there and watch the rest of baseball.
Talk about next year.
Yeah, start to talk about
anybody talked about next year is on my shit list. I don't want to hear about next year.
Well, yes, it's too early to talk about. I mean, if you know what, I would change that. I would say one thing about that, Michael. If you want to talk about next year, you should give your season ticket holders, your people that bought tickets for the entire season, you should give those people their money back. They're, prorated for the rest of the games. But if you say, well, we're looking with an eye toward next year. Well, okay. Or if you hear that word rebuilding, fine. You want to play that game? No problem. But I didn't buy tickets for a rebuilding team. I bought tickets for a team that I expected to go out there and win or attempt to win.
That's not the picture that I'm seeing with the Mets or the Giants. Giants lost 2 out of 3 to Washington. They got swept by San Diego. Tampa Bay's won 2 out of 3. These are just the last 2 weeks. The Mets cleaned us up. Pittsburgh beat us. We haven't put up a winning 3-game series with anybody that we've played since July. And they show what we would call in baseball terms, no promise.
That's a tough place to be. No promise is not a happy place to be. No promise is that place where, you're defeated before you pay the toll on the Triborough Bridge if you're going to Yankee Stadium. And if you go to Shea Stadium or Citi Field, you're defeated before you put your token in the turnstile.
The game has been decided, and you are not the lucky party.
Your best expected outcome would be not too much salt on the pretzel that you buy outside the ballpark.
And don't put the mustard on your white trousers.
Yeah, from the guy who's been selling those pretzels outside the ballpark since 1962. Into the league with the expansion Mets, not many people know this, came 7,921,000 pretzels.
Somebody's got to eat them.
And so you still working on the original shipment of stale pretzels from the Knickerbocker Pretzel Factory on Harmon Avenue in Ridgewood.
What people that don't know anything about New York can never figure out is, why do people drink celery and why do they drink that brand? And the answer is, everybody drinks it. You grow up with it there. And if you move to New York, you have to adjust yourself to it so that you can drink it too.
Yeah, why do people drink celery? Well, it's part of living in New York is being punished. And there's no more punishing. Well, no, there's one more soda that's as punishing as celery. And that is a vile concoction of carbonation and water and tree root named Moxie.
I've heard of Moxie.
Well, Moxie used to be all over Mad Magazine. Mm-hmm. I guess somebody who was an illustrator at Mad Magazine.
I like the logo.
Yeah, liked the logo or liked something about Moxie. And so they used to put Moxie all over there would just be a line or it would appear in a panel of a cartoon somewhere. I knew not much about it, and then one day I was driving through Maine.
The great state of Maine.
Great state of Maine on a day in my misspent youth, and the place had a one of those old type of coolers with the ice poured in, and the big, it's like a big metal cooler, and it's sitting in front of the gas station, and it has a rack, and you put the 15 cents in the slot in the rack, and you pull the thing and slide it across the rack, and then pull it out. And this place had a cooler full of Moxie. and I had never seen the Moxie before. And I said, "Well, let's give this a try." I mean, it's all over Mad Magazine. Bill Gaines can't be wrong about many things. And,
he's right. Bill Gaines was a visionary.
Yeah, he was wrong about Moxie Boy. Vilest.
What root is it made of?
Tree roots. I mean, literally made of. I mean, it's a literal root beer. So it's herbs and I don't know exactly what the recipe is, but it was carbon. It was a soda, a carbonated water that was also supposed to be an elixir.
Well, sarsaparilla was a root-based drink, and it was quite tasty.
Yeah, as was
Moxie just went the wrong direction. We can make a root drink that won't be that appealing to anybody.
And there are root drinks that do taste. I mean, there's root beer, obviously. There are what's the other one I'm thinking of that taste has a pretty decent taste about it. It's not. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call it refreshing, like I would Coke or Pepsi, or names like that. But it's if you're thirsty, you slug one down. Your stomach isn't gonna knock on your pelvis and say, "Get me the hell out of here."
We've got a problem. We have a processing problem.
And you're going to know about it within about 15 seconds.
It began when you drank that Moxie. I just want to start so that you don't misunderstand. You could have had a celery, but no.
Well, celery is not, like I said, it's I don't know. I guess if they put a little sugar in celery, they might have had something. But the people have put the
Dr. Brown's made other flavors like ginger ale.
And their black cherry soda.
Oh yeah,
is among the best soda you'll ever drink. As a matter of fact, Dr. Brown's is the preferred beverage in any Jewish deli in New York. You go into a Jewish deli, you will not find Canada Dry. You will not find there was two sodas that you would find in a Jewish deli: Dr. Brown's and Hoffman.
And what did Hoffman make?
Hoffman made flavored sodas, mixers and flavors. So, and they were most famous for the commercial. That one, the prettiest girl I ever saw was sipping Hoffman right through a straw. The prettiest girl I ever saw was sipping. That was their commercial. It was a wildly popular beverage at Thanksgiving, and Christmas. And I remember this, through a couple of different ways. But the biggest one is that I was the one that was usually selected to haul the heavy wooden and metal cases of soda up the stairs to Grandma's house to so that we would have mixers for that. You'd have to have Tom Collins, you'd have to have quinine water, you'd have to have a ginger ale, club soda. You had to have those at Thanksgiving, because that's when the adults, came out and drank the big drinks and had cocktails, highballs.
Wow.
Highballs. I mean, I'm sure you probably remember at your house somebody saying, "Well, Tom, would you like a highball?"
Yep.
And that was now. I always took it that highballs were a cocktail that basically had some kind of cream in it, and that mixed it up with liquor and a little bit of carbonated something, and made that as a drink, and that was a highball. But I came to know in later years that it could be an all-encompassing term.
Any mixed drink, really.
That could intoxicate you as a highball. But I was usually in charge, because I was the oldest boy, of going down to the basement and bringing up the
Bring up the
case
mixers,
of
Vinnie.
what?
Bring up the mixers, Ben.
Yeah, and not only did they come in these heavy crates, but they also came in glass bottles that were 32 ounces and were like real glass bottles. I mean, you hit somebody in the head with one of these bottles and they were going down.
They were not shy. They were
They
not
had
breakaway.
this long neck and this ridge on the neck of the expanding part of the bottle.
Yeah.
And so it was built not only to carry liquid, but to serve as a weapon. It was the famous New York College Point dual purpose bottle, and it served its purpose quite well. So anyway, but yeah, the Moxie, going back to the Moxie, it was just nasty stuff. And
I thought when I first got to New York, I thought Moxie was another variation of Yoo-Hoo. I thought it was a chocolate drink. So I was misled by my own inability, my own lack of knowledge.
Well, let's be fair about it, though, Michael. There was no internet in those days.
Right. You had to learn as you went.
Yeah, you actually had to, run down to the library on a Saturday afternoon and look up what Moxie was, or look up, somebody told you about it, and then you had to either go to a dictionary or go to a encyclopedia and read the definition, and then go out, and you had to do a little legwork, a little research.
And the term Moxie comes from someone who's smart, who's got
they have a lot of Moxie. Smart and ambitious.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of those things that combine. I think it's a war word, isn't it? Was it not a World War I term?
Possibly.
Yeah, I think it might have been a World War I term, and I think that people, saw that, and if you had Moxie, you had ambition, you had you tasted good. And that was your
someone with Moxie has a force of character, determination, or nerve. When you got Moxie, you need the clothes to match, is the phrase that they use here.
Huh. Let's
originates from the soft drink Moxie nerve food. Forgot about the word nerve. That was in there. First marketed as a patent medicine in 1876, later a carbonated beverage in 1884. And the name may have come from the Abenaki word meaning dark water, found in Maine. Place names where the drink was, where the drink operator was from. So it came from Maine.
Ogunquit, maybe? One of those wonderful coastal towns in Maine where nothing seemed right. not the lady that lived in the house on the corner, not Sam the shopkeeper, not the guy down at the garage who always seemed to be a little tetched and was never right when he got back from the Civil War. None of those people in Maine were.
Some people think that moxie is a Yiddish word. Some say it was a Native American word meaning dark water. It means arrogance or nerve or balls, but in two different languages.
Oh, I rest my case. I think that moxie.
They should have put a little something in there to soften the taste. It was their own fault.
Yeah, I'm sure that there is, because I believe they still make moxie. I believe that you could buy it, at least in the Northeast, and maybe even beyond that, because I just remember. Yeah, you can order 12 packs of moxie in cans from Box of Maine.
Mm-hmm.
It's a carbonated beverage that is available for your purchase. 12 a pack for $27.99.
You may see this sign of a guy who's saying, just drink Moxie. The very simple message from the Moxie company. Not a lot of marketing. Drink Moxie. And what else? And nothing else. Just drink it. Drink Moxie. And he's pointing right at you, Vinny.
Is he really? Yes, he is, isn't he?
I believe so.
And he appears to have a lab coat of some kind, no?
Yes, he's definitely a medical professional.
Yeah, he's definitely got a lab coat going on. And
in a serious expression, he means it. Drink it.
Yeah, he's not fooling around. He's one of those people who would be happy to take your $1.25 for a bottle of moxie, and get it cranked up.
There was a competition when Moxie was out for another patented drink that's supposed to be good for you. Dr. Pepper was on the market since 1885, and they were recommending it as a cure-all, a patent medicine, a snake oil for to create the atmosphere of a healthy person.
That's kind of how these sodas got started, right?
Coca-Cola too.
Yeah, that's the story of how these drinks got started. Is that so many people needed a pick-me-up, and most of that was because alcoholism was so rampant in this country at the time that people literally couldn't get out of bed, and so they wanted to have a bottle of moxie right there at the side of the bed so that they could drink that, close their eyes for 10 more minutes, and hopefully get out of bed.
Just 10 more minutes.
Just 10 more minutes. That's all I'll take 5, but if you could give me 10, you'd make me a happier human being. So, I don't know. I always thought
there's your Moxie, there's your celery, there's your Dr. Pepper, your Coca-Cola, and your it's got to be one. Oh, Hires root beer.
Hires, yeah. Well, again, root beer is as we said, was a beverage that people you were looking for some kind of charge out of it. You were looking for some kind of,
Pick me up.
a boost. You were certainly looking at, making your day a little bit better. Come on, make your day a little bit brighter. Have a heaping help of Vita. That was a Vita fish.
Vita fish?
Yeah, fish. White fish in a jar.
Oh dear.
The Vita Fish Company, Brooklyn, New York.
It's got nothing to do with paste made from horses, has it?
Yeah. You eat a little Vita on a cracker, and you're good to go. As a matter of fact, from what I understand, they're serving Vita this morning at the White House. Vita and Moxie.
I bet they're not serving anything. You guys, we told you to bring a bag lunch. We're not feeding Europeans.
We could have done this in 15 minutes by phone, but no, you guys wanted to tour of the White House again. And frankly, I'm sick of giving people tours of the White House. So it is what it is. My wife's not here to give anybody a tour of anything. There's no camera.
She's out tearing up the rose garden.
Yeah, she's showing him exactly where she wants the delivery men to put the ballroom. It'll be there in it'll be there in a few days, and they want to make sure it gets to the right spot.
And it's up to Trump to tell the European leaders why Vladimir Putin doesn't want Ukraine to join NATO. Well, he said that he would allow us to provide a Article 5 like protection device so that they would feel comfortable, but not to join NATO. And who says we can't join NATO? Russia said that. They said, don't join. They said that they didn't want that. So I'm just relaying what they said. What else did they say? They want the war to go on. They want the Donbass. And we know this how? Russia told us. And now you're telling us? Now I'm telling you that Donbass is for them. What else? Well, here's a whole list of things that they asked me to tell you. But why are we negotiating with you? Why aren't we negotiating with Russia?
Well, I want the peace prize. See, that's what you don't understand. It. I would really give a shit about any of this, except for the fact that
I couldn't find Ukraine on the map. If you
I couldn't find
and gave me a
53rd
little
Park on a map if I had to. So at this point, the only reason that I want this this all to take place is because I think that it'll get me.
It'd be good for me.
Yeah, it'll get me the Peace Prize, the Nobel Peace Prize, and I'll be able to claim that and have a thing here, and the picture will earn me all sorts of praise, or praise, I should say, and that's it. Really, no other reason. I could give a crap less about the Ukraine, a ukulele, an Ugo, a Yugo, or a Montenegro. But he's inserted himself into the once again volatile situation, which they're not gonna. They're not going to crank him up and say, come on, we got this. Let's get to the room downstairs where we can just all stand up and everybody say it at the same time. I don't know. I'm kind of. I don't have a lot of faith in anybody in the situation, to be honest with you, these days, except for Zelensky. He's the only one out of all of these people that'll be sitting at this table this morning that has demonstrated a will to a willingness to sit at a table and try to come up with something. But his something isn't all that, he's not really, this guy's had thousands of his people he's responsible for killed. He's had untold billions of dollars in destruction heaped upon his country.
He had to make a rare metals deal with Trump before he would talk to him about sandbagging him at the last minute. We do this deal. You give us the precious metals and the rare metals. Later on in the week, you're going to need us, and we're not going to come through. That's our relationship. We need you for this deal. Sign it here, and we'll get the rare metals. You need us for protection. We're not going to be there for you. Just want you to know that.
Right. Don't expect, we have no cavalry that will be coming riding over the hill. There's no
sending you anything.
Yeah, there's nothing. It's not, we'll send you some, we have a couple of boxes of Rock'em Sock'em robots downstairs that we got for Donnie a couple of years ago, and he couldn't figure out how to make them work. So we still have them. We'll send you those.
You got those. Use them or not use them as you want. And also remember, we have the map of Moscow, which you can use to find their generals and get them at home. You have to go personally there and do the dirty work yourself. But these are the addresses we think that are applied to their leadership.
Yeah,
you can send your officers, send your snipers, or perhaps go with drones.
Well, it's kind of what we did in Iran a few years ago. It's kind of got that same taste to it, where you remember Iran a few years ago. The guy was sitting on his veranda outside,
and then everything changed.
His wife was making, one of his wives were making Sunday dinner, and all of a sudden she heard a crackling noise,
and the deck was gone.
And so was Herbie.
So was hubby.
Hubby was gone with the deck.
And we actually haven't seen him since, and you bring that up.
Well, yeah, but that's part of what goes on over there is you don't see anybody after, it's just all of a sudden you see a puff. That's our American know-how and ingenuity. They're in a puff. They're said, well, we haven't finished inventing this weapon yet.
So there's some kinks in it. Things that we haven't ironed out.
Right. But it's as close as anybody else has gotten to solving this conflict. You laugh at us, but we've done more than anybody else.
I just wonder if they realize how complicated it's going to be. The fact that the European leaders have decided to show up all at once without asking permission. We're coming. We're going to be there, and we're going to work on this project with you. No more Mr. Nice Guy.
Well, Mikey, I find that the Europeans, I believe, are just getting a little done with President Slapdick. Kind of say, the whole scene that they had where you haven't done nothing, or if it wasn't for us, the stuff that my father used to say.
They've seen enough.
If it wasn't for us, you'd all be speaking German, or you'd all be speaking this, you'd all be speaking that, and this, that, or the other thing. And I think that there's only so far that kind of insulting can get people.
And Trump has no idea where these countries are. He calls them the shit countries.
Yeah, shithole countries. Shithole countries.
Not quite certain where France is or who the French are.
Well, no, he knows where France is because Macron's got a hot wife. So,
Possibly.
yeah. So he knows where France is. He probably goes to sleep every night looking at the surveillance tape.
The YouTube playback.
Yeah. He's not. He's got that one. Much as he will for any kind of. Now I forget what Zelensky's wife looks like. I mean, but I could see a scenario where he's looking at her too. I mean, listen, self-aggrandizement and looking at women's asses is about the story of Donald Trump.
Don't forget about the Peace Prize. He's the man of peace.
Yeah, that's his story. That's what he's in it for.
Donnie from Queens, man of peace.
Donnie from Queens wants the women to make sure that they know who he is, so that he can hit on them at some kind of state dinner. Go on upstairs. I'll show you the Lincoln bedroom. That's his thing. He's a disgusting puss bag.
And I'll get you a Moxie or a Yoo-Hoo, whichever you want.
We'll run right downstairs. I'll send Vinnie down in the basement to get it.
Vinnie always brings up the cases during holidays.
Yeah, he brings up the stuff. He's got he knows where everything's. Some people know where the skeletons are buried. Vinnie knows where the soda's stored. So, but that's kind of their thing, don't you think? That's so. They figured they'd go in there as a united front. I don't know how united they want to be with Donald Trump. I don't think that anybody there has any respect for him whatsoever.
Oh no, they're united in their own organization. They're united as members of NATO. Donnie from Queens doesn't want to be in NATO. He badmouths him. He doesn't play along. He's given Putin this idea that he can decide whether Ukraine gets to be in NATO or not. It's Putin's decision to make. We don't even know. We don't even get a vote. We don't have anything to say about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just but I'm glad they're doing it. I'm glad that they're at least showing some kind of backbone and some kind of pushback on Trump and what he wants. They're just not going to let him sit there and bloviate for an hour in a press conference. They're all going to get together.
Well, the problem with Trump today is he's got all these world leaders around him who know the score. He's going to start talking, making up facts and figures as he goes along, and they have to interrupt him and say, "No, Mr. President, that's not right."
Right, but it seems that those European leaders are among the only leaders in the world that will interrupt him. And they've developed quite a thing for stopping him in his tracks and saying, well, Mr. President, you are totally wrong. You don't know what you are talking to about. So I wish them all a lot of luck. I think that they have a tough job cut out for them, man. They gotta fact check him in real time, and they have to come up with some kind of plan that isn't going to give away the store and isn't going to give away, isn't going to undermine their own people.
The real challenge is Trump can't do anything that takes days to complete. It's something he's not good at. He's not good at sustaining an effort to arrive at the end of a project. So the idea that he's going to mastermind the back and forth between Russia, Ukraine, and the United States and NATO is ludicrous. He won't remember who's playing. He won't remember why they're doing it. He won't remember if did we have burgers and Coke already? Because I want burgers and Coke. We're going to have that, but not now.
Yeah, he can't.
Did we have it already? No, we haven't had it already. We're having it in a couple hours.
Yeah, he can't remember anything. He's worse than me. I didn't think I could find somebody on the face of the earth that had had as much of a pudding head as I have. But his brain it's just not working. It's out of order. Maybe that's how they get it all settled. Is they say, listen, you're dealing with this guy and he's mentally incompetent. You and he doesn't he just doesn't instill a lot of confidence in himself or other people. But I think he feels that with the number of people that they have there, they went from 9 leaders to enough people to try to make a decision about the future of the country. But the decision is really all going to be in Putin's hands, isn't it?
Well, it depends how much NATO wants to fight. Russia's not in a position right now to win this thing militarily. They've been fighting without winning. They've been taking land. They have secured some areas, but they cannot take the capital. They cannot take land as they need to. They cannot. They do not stack up well against the Ukrainian army. When the NATO nations give the supply of the supplies that they need militarily to stay even with Russia, the Ukrainian army is a good fighting force, and when they don't supply them, then they lose ground. So it's up to NATO. It's up to NATO who wins this fight, because Russia's not poised to win it. And if they supply the Ukrainian army, or join them for that matter, that's the way to win.
Yeah. It doesn't seem to be. It's not as much as we want to romanticize the situation of the Ukrainian army and how well they fought the Russians and how much they've done this and how much they've done that. The reality is, they're pissing into a fan, and they're getting wetter and wetter every day. And it's not
a situation that can be sustained.
Yeah, it's not going to go on much longer, one way or the other. It's by winter, I would hazard to guess what does winter really start getting going there about early December, late November, right around our Thanksgiving. They probably can't get through another one of those. I mean, they could want to. They could have the wherewithal in their hearts and in their minds, but I don't know that this is a group that's going to be able to do much of anything except it's going to say, "Listen, kids."
Well, Putin's next move is to say, "I thought we had this settled. We talked it out. We had a meeting. That's it. It was settled." I don't know why now everybody gets to say. What kind of world is that? NATO gets power. NATO gets to talk to Ukraine. I don't like that, Donald. I never agreed to that.
The poor Ukrainians, man. I feel so bad for these people. I think they're, from what I know about every Ukrainian I've ever met or had dealings with, the people I know from up in the Bronx, Morris Avenue, where there's a large Ukrainian community. They run the buildings up there. If you don't have heat, you don't call the landlord. You call Johnny, whatever his last name is, and he comes up with his toolbox and he puts it down in your apartment or down in the basement, and he goes about fixing that, whatever it is for you, whatever went wrong with the heating system, and usually has it done in a day. Those people are hell of a bunch of people, man. Hell of a bunch of people.
I think the solution is give them the weapons that they need to fight the war themselves, and things will be fine. Give them everything they need.
Well, then are you going to give them a nuclear bomb?
No.
Are you going to give them the ability to flatten Moscow?
Yes.
Yeah. I can't say as I 100% disagree with you. I can't say as I, because I think, and I've showed you this before, I think that this is my cane, and this cane is made in the Ukraine. It's the cane from Ukraine. This is hand carved. And when you look at this beautiful piece of wood that was nothing more than a Ukrainian piece of branch in a Ukrainian forest 5 years ago, try to get an American to make something like this. You see the canes that we put out there?
Think J.D. Vance could carve something like that?
J.D. Vance couldn't carve his initials into his own tree trunk in front of his house.
Well, he's got more initials than a lot of people, like NYV for New York Vinnie, JDV for J.D. Vance. It's 3 letters. It's time consuming. And you have to remember which letter you're on and what the next letter is going to be. It's a challenge for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's not easy. But this cane reminds me every day of the respect that I have for those people. And that we all should have for those people, because those people are our grandfathers, our grandmothers, are the people that still believe that that work ethic, that delivering on your promises, that protecting the people in your in your sector, in your village, in your city, in your town, it all means something. I'm not saying they're angels, Michael. I mean, there's a lot of shit that goes on over there too.
We're not saying they're angels. That's not we're not comparing them to angels.
They're not angels, but this when the rest of the world wanted to run away from Zelensky and wanted to run away from Ukraine and wanted to just sit back and let
Putin have his way.
Yeah, let the whole place just go to crap and give them when he basically did what Obama wanted to do again, what Obama wanted to do, what Obama did, and leave him in the lurch. Zelensky said, "Well, I'm not going down without a fight." Those are all kind of people. That's the people we're supposed to respect, and the people we're supposed to love, and the people we're supposed to admire, and the people that we would hope would come to us, to our aid, if we were in a similar situation, no?
Well, that's the promise that NATO made it to one another in Section 5. An attack on one is an attack on all, period. And Putin said, well, you can't join NATO. And Ukraine says, we're joining. We're joining for the protection it affords us, and it affords you no protection. But we don't care if you're protected. We care about whether the member nations of NATO come to our assistance if you attack us again.
When you see the when you see the Ukrainians getting the shaft, think of a cane. Think of the eagle that sits on top of this cane. This cane, this eagle means more to many than most any other thing I've ever gotten or seen in Europe.
Well, I don't expect we'll have an answer to our problem today, but we'll have some advancement in the situation. And we'll see how well Trump holds up under the scrutiny of the world leaders watching him, following him, correcting him all along the way. We'll see what he can master during this day that falls in line with his idea of winning the Nobel Peace Prize on the strength of his extraordinary organization of the capitulation of the entire Ukrainian nation. That's not peace. That's a giveaway.
No, take this. Get these meats and cheeses away from my table.
Yeah, let's clear this stuff out of here.
Let's clear this stuff out of here. We rented the meat. We didn't buy it. And we've hired a couple of short order cooks. Going to make you up some McDonald's so you'll have something to eat on the plane back. Now get out of here. It's a sad situation, and I pray, I hope, I somehow hope that they can come to some kind of agreement, and they can get out of there what they need to.
Vinnie, shall we gather on a Wacky Wednesday?
Yeah, I think we should, Michael. I think hopefully we'll know something. Hopefully we'll know something. Now I'm just going to say something. This is going to be before we go. I want to say this because I'm the kind of person that always holds out hope. I would pray that Donald Trump would shock us all. And come up and have a plan in his folder when he sits down, or he doesn't even carry the folder. It's one of the other people carrying the folder, and when they stick it in front of his pie hole, that they would have a plan that somebody thought up, and would say, "Well, just agree to this. Just tell them that this is what you'll enforce, and that they'll sign it, and that they'll get on it, and they'll get things going." And this guy is here to make a deal, and we got a deal, and he wants to do it. Let's get him. Let's get him on the track to some kind of peace, because there's a lot of kids, there's a lot of old people that are dying over there for really no reason except a couple of guys' egos, so that one can get a Nobel Peace Prize, and the other one can
never going to happen.
Ride his horse.
You can't connect?
That's what I hope when we meet Wednesday, that maybe they have something. I don't think it's going to happen, but I guess if, as Oprah says, if you put it out there to the universe, maybe it'll happen.
Let's put that out there.
All right, Mikey, I will catch up with you on Wednesday morning. Hopefully the internet will be working, and we'll have a fine little little session to talk about the great president, the great peacemaker, Donald Trump.
The man with the moxie and the Yahoo to get it done.
He's got the Yahoo, the Moxie, and most of all, the Dr. Brown Celery.
Yeah. Settle your stomach.
If the Lord's willing.
And the creek don't rise.
Mikey, peace, love, and Manischewitz, man. See you on Wednesday.
What a wine. See you, Vin.
See you, Mikey. Thank you all for watching, too. And
Thank you.
Joining us here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10:10 or thereabouts. Bye-bye.